Good morning. I'm Ngaire Woods, Dean of the School, and delighted to welcome you all. Particularly thrilled to be building a collaboration with the Cabinet Office and Government, with Public Digital, and with New Local. And so a special welcome to all those of you who are from those organisations, but to everybody who's embarking on what should be a pretty exciting journey. A few years ago, a new minister who had been in role for, I think, 2 weeks, came bouncing into my office and said, I'm going to roll out 3,000 social impact bonds this year. And I thought that was an interesting ambition. But much more than that, it had me reflect about how important it is to support politicians and governments in innovating, but how important it is to be doing the hard work of evaluating how to make things actually work. So my answer to him was, well, actually, we've been evaluating social impact bonds for some time, and they're getting better in the following ways, but here are some pitfalls. So apart from the fact that you probably can't do 3,000, I always like an ambition to move fast, but here are some things you might want to take into account. And something that we've learned working as a school for over a decade with the Cabinet Office is that government and civil service and civil society have quite a changing guard, changing ministers, changing civil servants, changing leaders in the NGO sector. And that what we can be as a partner is we can bring, other than the ideas, the people, the engagement, the convening, we can bring a continuity of knowledge and experience that in our partnership with the Cabinet Office, I think we underestimated, but we quickly realized was really important. As ministers changed, civil servants changed, and the leadership in the NGO sector that we were working with changed, we were able to then bring forward to them, well, this is what you did last time, or this is what your predecessors have done. So by way of introduction, I want to say just a very quick word about the school and then a very quick word about why we're so excited about this partnership. But I do want to say a word about the school because you've been welcomed into this glorious building, but the school is not the building, although it's a beautiful building to work in. My colleagues and I began building the Blavatnik School of Government here at Oxford 15 years ago to really take forward 3 big bets about how we could do our small part to improve and support government. And the first bet was about people. We need to use this extraordinary institution of Oxford, which is 900 years old, to bring the diversity of people who will help ensure that government doesn't fly blind. Governments affect, even more than anyone in this room, people who will probably never come into this room, people who interact with housing authorities, local government, police, etc., almost every day of their lives. Those people are affected by government. They see government more than the rest of us. And to govern well, we need to ensure that we find people of huge talent and resilience from right across society. So one thing we're very proud of in this school is that when we select people who we think are going to be great public leaders, typically the average age of our master's students is 30. Over this year, 90% of them are on full scholarships. In the coming year, there'll be 115 of them on full scholarships. So it's to say, in this, we are a little different to our colleagues in other parts of the elite universities of the world. We are a school that seeks resilience, brilliance, and talent for the public sector from everywhere, not just across the world, but across different societies. So our first bet is about people and how we can make the idea of public service, of running for political office or of serving in the civil service, something exciting and nurtured, something so exciting and nurtured that this, one of the greatest universities in the world, will throw its shoulder into it. The second bet we make is about research. Research and evaluation. What is the kind of research and evaluation that actually helps you if you're trying to govern? Not the kind of research that tells you 25 years later with absolute rigor that you were totally wrong, but something that actually helps you. So in our partnership that began with the Cabinet Office for the Government Outcomes Lab, when 9 years ago the Life Chances Fund was launched, it's true that the GoLab team have just produced a magnificent report which summarizes the evaluation of that. But I think even more importantly than that has been the relationship with civil servants and politicians all the way through, giving them feedback on how things are working on the way through. And as a school, we're really committed to this idea, which I think is particularly important for Test, Grow and Learn, which is encourage innovation, evaluate, learn, and put that learning in. And as a university department, we can do this without a prior, without coming at it saying we've got to prove this is working because we've sold it to clients as consultants or because we've pushed it on local governments as a government or because we've executed it as civil servants. No, we can stand back as supportive but independent and rigorous analysts and say what's really working here? What are people not wanting to say that's not working? What does that look like? What's the evidence? How do we bring that together to help everybody do better? And in the school, the team in the Government Outcomes Lab have done a brilliant job, and so too have other colleagues who are sitting here. Thomas Elston, who's taking forward brilliant work about how to improve public management and administration in the UK. Paul Collier, who sadly was not able to join us here today, but who's taking forward with enormous vigor a vision of how to help the broken parts of the United Kingdom. And Lucy Hayward, who's this year's Hayward Fellow, who's been working on how to help government departments be strategic as a civil servant, taking time out to reflect and help us point our efforts in that direction. So our first bet is people. Our second bet is research that actually helps governments do better in real time as well as after the fact. And our third bet is bringing people together. It's how you get collaboration, not just the easy collaboration of people that are just like you and agree with everything you say, but the difficult collaboration, the unlikely coalitions, the getting people who may have very different starting points to come together in these rooms and to actually wrestle with practical problems that they can solve together, and to do that with great effect. And we're doing that in many countries across the world. And that notion of unlikely coalitions is really important as the world becomes more and more divided. So that's the Blavatnik School. We're so excited by the Test, Learn and Grow program, both the partnerships, the ongoing partnership with government to take forward some of the things that we've learnt from the last decade about how we can be more helpful and more supportive. Andrea, who introduced this morning, is just tirelessly having worked in local government and now had this time working with civil servants across different departments, is tirelessly on the phone answering queries, directing them to where the evidence and research lies. That's where we would like to help the Test, Learn and Grow program, to be the evaluators who are constructively there, helping it all work better. I'm going to stop there and just conclude by saying, please do spend your coffee break going up to people that you've never seen before and don't know to say hello and introduce yourself. That's one of the special things of coming all the way to this place to a meeting. I know there are parts of Britain, I learned as a Kiwi, that don't like you to introduce yourself. You've got to wait to be introduced. We don't do that in the Blavatnik school. You just bowl up to people and introduce yourself. So please do. Can I thank again our partners for being here? Can I thank every one of you for giving your time and energy and intellect to this endeavor and to getting it launched in a great way? And can I conclude by inviting to the stage for the first really terrific panel setting the stage for this, the Secretary for the Cabinet Office, Georgia Gould, who we're very proud is an Oxford alum, St. Cat's, History and Politics. The Undersecretary for AI and Digital Government, Ferial Clark, that's Ferial there, who I didn't get to meet, who, I was very impressed to see that we have a master's degree in bioinformatics in the government, and thrilled. And I think we'll be calling you for, some evaluation tips as well, Minister Clark. And Jess Studert from New Local, who's right at the heart of this, and Jess is going to moderate this next panel. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, ministers, for being here. Really looking forward to the day. Thank you.